Hi, this is Mary Grace, and the Montgomery County Fair for 2025 has just ended, as in Saturday, and this is Monday. I must confess, this is of course the second time I shot this video, because the first time my last name was all over the place, and I know my lawyer friend would have words with me, so I'm going to shoot this again. So you won't get the true initial shock and to the judge's comments, but you also won't get all the crinkling, because I thought I had unfolded all the papers right the first time, but halfway through I missed some. Plus, I got more props to have more visuals, so this will be a better video. First up, my tree. This is my first hexagonal tree. And the great thing about the Montgomery County Fair is not just ribbons. I got second place, but in lots of categories you get critiques. And for quilting, they have this whole rubric where they tell you. So they said my piecing was very good, my applique was very good, and that has to do with no puckers, smart edges. I don't even know if this one really has applique, but we'll go with it. Quilting was very good, quilting design was very good, binding very good. It's the hexagons are quilt as you go, so it's kind of self-binding. And they said altogether it was very good. Now the comments on the back: fun piece, try sewing at binding edge on each hexagon, great colors. So I even got little bonus comments at a second place. I could not be more tickled about how well my tree did. The owls that will go on the tree will be in my next video, because it's going to be a two-parter, because this video, as you saw by the title, is Quilting B+, and the other one will be just floss tube. All right, so here is quilt number 2, my crabby quilt. Down the row it goes. They said the piecing was very good. Watch your pressing. Applique is very good. Beading is not uniform. I did use different size beading. I'm not sure if that's what they meant, because I had used beading to fit each part. Quilted stitches, it needs more quilting. We can see on the back here, I don't know, I think it's quilted pretty much within an inch of its life. And usually it's a hand rule. They also made the comment, stitches may snag. Yeah, there's a little snagging. Design good, cute, but needed more. You know, my son said to me, Mom, the crab should have 3 bubbles, which means then the seahorse should also have 3 bubbles. And later I did find even a sailboat, but I liked the 3, you know, seahorse 1, and then the dial down here, and this one down here. So that was 3. So I don't know, I thought with the lace, it's fine. It's fine. It really is. Finishing needs pressing. Watch corners. Overall design, excellent. So second place, like I said, I'm pleased as Peach with that. Next comes up my Christmas tree, my crazy quilt adjacent Christmas tree. Well, actually, I don't even think it's crazy quilt adjacent, because it just has nifty buttons like a Christmas tree would. So, anyways, back to the rubric. Piecing is excellent. Because they couldn't see the piecing, I hid it underneath this bit of rickrack here. I loved how this rickrack turned out. I blended I braided brown rickrack with gold rickrack, so they couldn't see my points. Gotta be smart. This time they knew not to do anything with applique, because there's no applique. They said my quilting was excellent. Okay. My quilting design, excellent. My finishing was good. That is true. There was a few spots. The front looked good, but there were a few parts on the back. The piece I used for binding was a little rough to work with, so it didn't go as well as it could have. So that's, you know, I think binding missed in several places. Yes, we agree, it did. So, you know, second place, because my binding missed in several places. But look at my cute buttons. Next is my map. This was in the panel division. And it got third place. They said the piecing was very good and applique was very good. Again, I don't know if they're paying attention. The quilting was very good. Quilting design, very good. That's, I guess in this case, that's designing where I put my quilt lines, because I could have run my quilt lines just across the thing, but I very specifically put my quilt lines just on the longitude and latitude lines because I didn't want to run through the words. Finishing was very good. Stiff competition. Watch binding for smooth edge. Fun trip. Guess they think I'm taking a fun trip? That's fine. Okay, quilting adjacent. First, of course, the curtains I made for my son, the frog panel. They are twisted together. Second place. It says goods job needs to be a little neater on the edges. Love the frogs. And that's a perfectly valid. I can tell you the back edge here was a little special, but hey, I am thrilled. And my son will be thrilled to have his curtains back. Next piece of adjacent work. This is the first block in what someday will become a crazy quilt. And the reason I put a hanger on it and entered it in the fair is because I wasn't even sure if I would ever do it. But I got some encouragement. Okay, granted here it says third place. And I put it in embroidery and they said perhaps use smaller stitches, don't pierce the back, good effort and tension. The reason the back is pierced is because it's quilted, and they obviously didn't recognize that. But the woman who was volunteering with me in the needlepoint division looked at it and goes, this is an excellent piece of crazy quilt. She is a judge, and she is a grand champion in her own right in needlepoint done on canvas. And for her to say that, I now have the encouragement to finish this crazy quilt. I don't think I'll put the pieces in again, but I'm glad I did because she gave me that encouragement, and she told me my binding needs to be a little bit more uniform, which in some places it's thin, in some places thick. Plus she told me I've got to sew these little edges together if I want to get the top score. And yes, I really want a purple ribbon. So I have to figure out where is my expertise that I could possibly get a purple ribbon. And I've seen the competition in cross stitch. Oh, it's tough. And the quilting competition is tough. But maybe a crazy quilt. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen a completed crazy quilt that I can recall in at least the last 3 years. Someone had made the comment they haven't seen it all. So maybe. But I have the encouragement. Okay. Again, quilting adjacent because I did put this bear together. Oops, there goes the name. I was trying so hard. I'm not shooting this video again. Nicely done. Love the embroidery and the details. So again, this is all put together and I'm quite pleased with it. That was in Dolls and Animals and it got a first place. This one also in Dolls and Animals. It says cute design and embellishments. You know how much I love to use a button for my eyes. And work on hand sewing technique on closure. As I look at the back here, the hand closure, the stitch closure is a little rough. But the good news is, this is one of those times where I used all the patterns. This is a 3-piece pattern. One made a dog. There were 3 parts of the pattern. A dog, a bear, and a cat. And I've now used the entire pattern, which means I get to buy a different pattern if I want to. And there's another version of a cat that sits more like this that I kind of want when I go to do a cat for myself, I think. Or at least I'm going to get that pattern and possibly try it out. So, and this was made out of a pair of curtains, or a single curtain actually. Obviously, it's not that big. So that's why it is quilting adjacent. And because I only wanted to do 2 videos, not 3, so it had to go in one of the videos. It's really not floss related. I mean, I did embroider the nose here and the mouth, but that's not nearly as much stitching. And I know you're thinking, Mary Grace, that bear has a ton of embroidery on it. I might talk about the bear in both videos. So if you watch both videos, I apologize that you have to listen to me talk twice, but I guarantee I'm probably not going to say the same thing. I might also talk about this one in the other video too for that same purpose. Oops, I saw my name. Hopefully you didn't. I thought I went through all these cards. Oh well. There we go. So again, another ornament from the 1970s. 2 years ago, when I was going through and doing things, I must have missed completing this because I did have to do this final stitching here. Just a note on the back that says tough competition. That's good enough. I'll take second place and run with it. I appreciate the comment. The poor judges, they have a lot to judge. The entries in the entire building went from 30 last year to like 3,427 this year. And I know that the accessories department, which is this department, this year, I bet you they doubled all their entries. I know that hand embroidery was up by 50 entries. I know needlepoint doubled their entries. That's a lot of things for judges to write comments on. And it can be very difficult. That's why I really appreciate the time and effort the quilting judges took to circle things and what have you. It really is nice to have that encouragement and that feedback, because that's what the fair is all about, is learning how to up your game. If you want to. I want to up my game. But in areas, I want to up my game, but I'm also realistic about my time constraints. All right, so now we're going to completely off to baking. The theme of this year's fair was Beeline to the Fair. And there was a baking category called Cookie Collection. I thought, that's not too hard. So I got this cookie cutter set, and I made the bees. Their comment, of course, was, nice looking cookies, all flowers or beehive. Add flowers or beehive for a display. So I only did bees. So if I want to make a true cookie collection, I should have just followed the pattern. I should have done 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. Lesson learned. So I'm going to do that again next year. So I'm going to have to go to a thrift store to buy, because would you believe I do not have a barn cookie cutter? And the theme for next year's fair is Barn in the USA. I don't know if that means for my cookie collection I'm going to do a barn and then the words USA, or if I'll do a barn and maybe a Ferris wheel, because that's at the fair, and something. I don't know, but I have to at least do a barn, but we know we should not do 6 barns. So I have to figure out, oh, maybe a tractor. Yeah, I could do a tractor. That would be cool. So a barn and a tractor and something else for next year. And the great thing about this is, of course, when I make the cookies, I decorate 6 of them to look good. Well, okay, I decorated like 20 and figured out the best 6. And then I can use the other ones to just put them in regular cookies. And that got me a 3rd place. They said, cute design, make them a little thinner next year, and they were a little starchy. Okay, again, good to know. So next year I'll roll it thinner. It was a little thick now that I think back on it. And by the time I got and figured out that I decorated too many cookies, didn't have enough dough left, didn't feel like making more dough, and then I overcooked one batch. So there was only one batch from which to pick my 6 cookies. So, you know. But the batches that didn't make it to the fair tasted good as far as I was concerned. So again, a little bit of encouragement, something else to do. The last thing I tried out this year was a tablescape. Tablescapes is, where you put everything pretty on the table before people sit down. And of course, it was Beeline to the Fair. I went to a quilting yard sale, and I called out that I was looking for bee material, and I was. And I found this material. This material has these bees on it. So I made coasters for my tablescape like this. And then I was like, well, I got over a yard of material for $5. I can shred the material, because for every one I cut out perfectly, I would wind up shredding the same design next to it because they were so close to each other. And I made hair clips I made what I thought was the proper number of fair friends. Turns out I am fortunate enough to have a lot more fair friends than I realized. So I had to make some each night and make some more each night I went. And I was still giving them to people on the last day of the fair saying, I'm sorry, I missed you last week. I went home, I made more. And they all still loved them, which was nice. So I don't plan to do that again in the future, but we all got to be queen bees. So anyways, found this material, used it on the coasters. The whole thing started with my mother-in-law's plates, which I forgot to bring up as a prop. And I told you I'd have more props, which I know you love the props. Anyways, so my mother-in-law's plates have a little bee on them, and they're yellow. They're not yellow. They have yellow flowers on them. And I saw this beautiful fabric, this beautiful tablecloth on eBay. And it came with napkins. I liked it. And I went on the great search for milk stuff. I can't remember the word. They're tableware, and it's called like milk glass or something. But that was pricey. And I didn't want to put all the money in the world in it. I didn't want to use my own China set, because my own China set is green. Didn't look very beeful to me. And I was using my mother-in-law's. But I got it in my mind, what about a breakfast thing of some kind, with everything being with honey? And on Facebook Marketplace, I got this teacup set. It has a teacup, a tea pourer, and the sugar and the milk. And inside it, hopefully you can see, is a golden bee. And like I said, the theme was beeline to the fair. So $20 for, 4 teacups and everything. I was like, because budget. And I was like, okay, I really has a nice gold rim. My flatware is all silver. eBay, $10. I got golden flatware. That was including shipping. This is a hair tie. I got 6 of these. And then I bought these nifty little, you can get 50 to 100 little bees off of Amazon. So I put them here. I made earrings. I put them on a thing that looked like a hive and what have you. And I had a black tablecloth underneath this too. So these were the comments. Colors reflect the theme. Tablecloth had baskets on it. Maybe flip it over the gold side. And I get that now. It's taken me about 2 days to get that. And the display, ? Very basic. Not terribly encouraging. The competition is tough. There were gorgeous tablescapes. And there was right there in the description, live flowers may be used. And I didn't put flowers in mine, and everyone else did. So that's where a rubric like the one in quilting is what I and a fair friend came up as an improvement for the fair. Because there's only 11 tablescapes, and certainly the judge could, if they had one like that, it could have said, flowers, we could come up with a rubric. So my contribution to help improve the fair is when we have our debrief meeting in September, is to bring 2 or 3 rubrics with me and give them to the chairperson. I was going to send them to her yesterday, and then I was like, she will shoot me. She will absolutely shoot me. And I am a co-department head of the needlepoint division, so I do get to have some influence, wreak some havoc, at the fair. Hopefully some improvements. Who knows? But I had a great time at the fair. I crested over my 100 hours. And if you crest over your 100 hours, then the next year you get a free pass to the fair, including parking, which is good. So I'm really excited about that. I had a great time with all my fair friends. It's like a fair reunion. And hopefully you'll watch video number 2, which again might feature these 2 pieces, but will be much more floss related. Thank you. Remember to personalize everything you stitch. Goodbye.